Welcome back. I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas. I'm Keegs, and we are going to be continuing on with Batman Santa Claus Silent Night, the finale issue number 4. So back in issue number 3, Superman got possessed by some demon or spirit or something from Krampus that was previously like possessing him or something, and he's fighting the rest of the Justice League and Santa Claus team when Batman comes to his son Damian Wayne, who was taken by Krampus into some unknown portal to somewhere. Damian's trying to figure out exactly where he is, but he's noticing that Krampus is having sort of a split personality inner conflict that is preventing him from actually being killed, because Krampus actually doesn't want to kill Damian, he just wants to scare him because that is the nature of Krampus. But then we have some weird shadow demon that is kind of inside the head of Krampus, possibly from all his years in isolation that has led to a split personality. Superman's kind of doing okay, but the fact is he's actually not using his full strength because whatever has possessed Superman doesn't really know all of his abilities. So Batman's talking to Blue Beetle and he's like, yeah, you're gonna need to take Superman down here because no one else can do it, and I'm really gonna need you to lay hard into him. Blue Beetle doesn't really want to do it, but apparently this is something that I didn't even know he could do, but Blue Beetle is able to generate kryptonite radiation, which is obviously able to just beat the living shit out of Clark. Blue Beetle is not having a good time. He doesn't actually really want to be doing this, and even halfway through zapping Clark, he's like, can I stop? And Batman's like, no, don't worry. He's tough. He'll be fine. Just keep going. Basically, do whatever you can. If you have to kill him, then do that. But secretly, Batman's like, yeah, I mean, I don't think Clark is actually going to die here. But whatever possessed Clark does think, oh man, Blue Beetle might actually kill me here, so I'm going to need to jump to a different host, someone that isn't actively getting destroyed by one of the heroes. The spirit leaves Clark's body and just kind of evaporates into the void when all of a sudden just a big-ass avalanche comes down, taking out everyone on the battlefield. Krampus's shadow has kind of convinced him that he does actually need to kill Damian because that's who he is now, but then Damian has a really smart idea and pretends to be really sorry and a helpless kid, which is exactly what Krampus wanted. He wanted to scare bad kids into being good kids. So now that Damian is very remorseful and says that he will never do it again, Krampus is like, oh, I definitely can't go through with this now because I've done everything that I was supposed to, and I've made the kid better, which was able to kind of snap Krampus out of the funk that he was in. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl show up and rescue all of the heroes from the avalanche that came down, and Clark kind of gets up pretty beat up and not feeling super great right now, but he's able to say that when he was possessed, he could see what that spirit saw, which was, in fact, actually the Phantom Zone. So, obviously, that very famous Phantom Zone, I guess everybody uses it for certain needs and often to lock criminals behind because it's a very difficult place to escape. But he said that there are creatures there that have been there so long, because time passes differently in the Phantom Zone, but they've been there so long that they have literally just forgotten every essence of who they once were, who they are, and they just kind of act on pure nature and intuition. And when they saw Krampus was able to find kind of a way back out of the Phantom Zone, when the realm started shifting around, they were able to, or at least one of them was able to possess him and kind of drive the strings for a while so that that entity could get out of the Phantom Zone as well. Batgirl says that all the monsters have kind of withdrawn and taken off in a certain direction, and Santa's like, yep, that's the direction of my workshop. Blue Beetle's like, you've got some big toys or something, right? That's defending it out there while we're out here, you know, doing all the work and everything. But Santa's like, nope, I don't, but that's not really the most important thing right now. Right now, I have a child to find. Santa walks over to a tree to listen to it, and Nightwing is like, you get a lot of uses out of trees, don't you? And of course he's like, well, I am the woodsman, of course, that's how I know what kids want, is through the trees. When people put all the Christmas trees in their house, he could hear all of the people through the trees, which I thought was kind of a fun, clever thing that I haven't heard before in a myth of Santa Claus. Anyway, he's able to find Damian through the trees, and he opens a portal, and when they get through it, they see that Krampus is kind of still struggling with that whole demon inside of him thing, maybe trying to kill Damian, but also maybe trying to resist. Damian's like, Krampus, you caught me, finish the game. Krampus is like, the boy is sorry, and Santa's there saying, yes, yes, Krampus, let us finish this ritual. The child's family is now here. You have to release him. With that, Krampus is able to muster enough willpower to force out the possession, and he feels kind of bad about it. And he also doesn't really know where he is or what's happening, but he does recognize Klaus, his old friend. He asks Klaus if he was lost, and Klaus is like, yes, you were, old friend, but now you're home, this is where you belong, and we're gonna make it right. They're able to take out all of the monsters that were freed, and Blue Beetle asks where they're gonna go now. Are they going back on ice? Are we freezing them or putting them in the Phantom Zone or what? Green Lantern Joe is like, I know a planet actually where these guys would probably fit in pretty much all right. And Santa's like, that would be perfect. And I really appreciate that because I don't know that I can imprison them again after everything that they've been through. Santa thanks everyone for their help, and Santa asks Krampus if he wants to ride with him to deliver the presents. Damian still doesn't really understand since he didn't have a real childhood, and he's like, why? Why are you bringing them these presents? Klaus responds like, why do you think I'm bringing them these presents? Batman says it's because he's driven. He can never stop seeing the child who needed the gift. Superman says, for yourself, you do it for you, because nothing feels better than giving a gift. Santa also doesn't fail to mention the fact that, don't forget, you once wrote me too, Damian. And Nightwing kind of laughed at that because he's like, that's really funny to picture Damian writing a Christmas letter to Santa, but Damian's like, yo, I was 5 years old and I asked for a satellite that could track my enemies, and he also never even got it. And Klaus is like, yeah, that's true, but even worse, you never had a real childhood, so why don't you hop in the sleigh with me and we can go deliver the presents together. Of course, that is if it's okay with your father. And obviously Bruce is like, go have fun, son. And it's just really nice getting to see Bruce actually be a father to Damian, because Bruce really feels like he was robbed of that childhood, and getting to be there for his son is actually really important to him. Santa also gives a gift to the rest of the Justice League, which is the fact that they can go into his workshop and have an awesome meal and hang out with all of their friends and everything, and when they walk out, no time will have passed, so they have nothing to worry about while they're in Santa's house, and they can just rest assured and have a good time without worrying of some cataclysmic world-ending event that they might have to go stop. They spend the rest of the night eating and having a good time, which they haven't all done together possibly ever. This possibly may be the first time that they all have been able to just hang out, relax, without having to worry about anything going dramatically wrong. I love this Christmas special. I thought it was really fun, and it's always good to see different takes on the myth of Santa Claus, and I'll have you know that this story is in fact canon, so Santa Claus does actually exist in this universe, and he's also a complete badass. So I hope you've enjoyed this merry tale. I'm Keegs, and I will catch you all next time for some more superhero content.